Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Akatsuki no Yona, also known as Yona of the Dawn. Yona of the Dawn, chapter 225, entitled Breathe Out. Breathe Out. Now, this is a very good chapter. We're going to get into this chapter. This is not a reaction necessarily, but I am going to have to go through it slightly because I am very, very busy this month. Details not really important, but I am quite busy. So I managed to read the chapter when it dropped, but I only had one quick read of it, just make sure I know what happens. And so now I'm sort of going to be going through, and sometimes I do this for reference in reviews. You guys know this. I make sure to bring up a couple of pages and a couple of windows just so I don't forget to talk about certain things. But we're sort of going to go through the chapter together, not line by line, but sort of just go through it together to make sure I don't miss anything important or anything that I wanted to talk about. It's a good refresher for me since the chapter dropped. Okay, so... And normally I don't mention the cover pages and stuff like that, but this week's was very, very nice, or this month's, whatever, was very, very nice with jae-ha and all the blue and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of the watercoloring that they generally do and stuff like that, but this one is extremely detailed, looks amazing. It's the official shot that over 14 million copies have been sold worldwide of Yona of the Dawn. So that is extremely exciting, especially for me. So that means I'm going to be able to get my copies, and I don't have to rush out and get them. Like, oh, what if they go out of print? Not with 14 million copies sold worldwide. Not worried about it. So, but yeah, and it's also a good reminder that jae-ha has blue hair. You know, like, Hawk to me still has black trim and a red coat, but it's actually supposed to be blue. Jae-ha has the green hair, of course, but jae-ha I'm always picturing with silver hair, because it's manga, you don't see the colors, and sometimes it's nice to have a little reminder of what the color schemes actually are. But anyways, very, very nice color page. I usually don't talk about it, but this one particularly stood out to me. Very detailed, very nice. Anyway, so... This happens, I don't know if the timestamp is given at some point, but this is basically the day later or night later, same day sort of idea. Not 100% sure, but it's after the battle. It's after the end of chapter 224. We start off with Minso and soo-won, and they're basically talking about the fact that soo-won actually feels a little better. Minso managed to use the senjutsu, claiming, and this is the thing I wanted to talk about, was... He claims that it was almost completely wilted, but it still had somewhat of an effect on soo-won. It did not cure the Crimson Dragon illness, of course, but it seemed to help with the pain to a degree. And so, of course, is very impressed by Hawk being able to, like, this is the herb that Lord Hawk gave, blah, 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 right? So that's really cool, but also there's a, like, as I said, this senjutsu was almost completely wilted, right? We all know this. So... This leads me to believe that if this one was completely wilted, if this one had been completely healthy, would the effects be even more potent to help soo-won along even further with the pain? It's not going to cure anything, but it's going to help with the pain management. So potentially getting fresh senjutsu will work even better. That's just a theory. It's not confirmed. But the fact that they mentioned that this one was beaten up pretty bad, and we know it survived a flood and being transfer of hands, and it's been days, yada, yada, yada. Still, if it worked to any degree, that just means a fresh one would probably do leaps and bounds better. That's just what I'm assuming. So this means maybe another quest for some more senjutsu. I'm not 100%, but maybe they'll send the king or something. Maybe they'll send an army to go get this shit next time, rather than one person, now that they know it works. But yeah, so this is where, of course, Minso talks about, forgive me for asking so soon, blah, 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 but how is the pain right now? Of course, it didn't completely get rid of the pain, did it? I need, he's going into doctor mode, right? He's going into that. And this is where, soo-won is remembering, how Hawk gave it to him and stuff, but he said, the crimson illness didn't disappear, however, and this is sort of like, I'm sitting there, right? And I'm reading this chapter, and I'm in the middle of painting and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, yeah, all right, I just want to make sure that I don't get spoiled, so I better read the chapter now that it's dropped. And so I started reading it, and then I had to pause right here on this page. I had to pause, because I'm thinking he's going to be like, because he says he felt a little better in the earlier page, and then I thought, okay, so soo-won's going to say the Crimson Dragon, clearly it's not a cure, but it's really helping me. Like, holy shit, I haven't felt this good in months. That's where I thought the direction it was going. But then, it's the Crimson Dragon illness. Didn't disappear, but, oh, ladies and gentlemen, at that instant, when Hawk collapsed in his arms, I forgot the pain. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we raise a glass to some great storytelling. That's what we do here. That's what we do on my channel. We appreciate greatness. And this is greatness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, this was, and I know it's mostly ladies who watch these reviews anyway, so, different from saying, hey guys, all the time in all my other videos, because that's generally male, but these are very female. It's a shoujo manga. It's more female fan base. So I understand and appreciate that, because the difference is in the appreciation factor just in different groups of people is going to be different. Age groups, gender groups, all that stuff, right? And here I feel like a lot of guys, unfortunately, because of the stereotype, because a lot of guys don't generally read shoujo manga seriously, or if it's got the demographic of shoujo, a lot of guys, especially guys in their teens, won't read them. Maybe they're good stories, blah blah blah. Maybe they're open-minded, but they're just like, I've got enough series, I'm good. These type of moments would make all the guys just go, fuck yeah. Yep. I'm not crying. You're crying. Yep. You know what I'm saying? All these macho men thinking that it's too girly to read a shoujo manga, and then we get shit like this, and I'm sitting there going, this is why I read a shoujo fucking manga, guys. Like, let's be real, because it's the dialogue, it's the representation, the artwork is doing it very well. They're doing the white background, they're doing the shots, they're doing everything, the reactions perfectly. They're slow pacing it. They're not trying to rush these moments. That's a big problem that I found in like manga of today, is they try to rush the serious moments. It's like, no. Give me a whole chapter of one moment. Sell that moment. Don't try to cover it in one page just because of pacing. No. Slow the fuck down and show me how they feel, how the characters feel. And boom, right here, I forgot the pain. And I like to think in this moment, it wasn't that he forgot the pain because he was so shocked or whatever. He forgot the pain because he was worried about Hawk. I don't know what you guys took away from this, but me personally, I like to think that right there, when Hawk finally, here you go, and collapsed, he was so scared. He was so surprised to see Hawk, but he was actually scared. Like, Hawk's bloody and beaten and blah, blah, blah. And he's actually scared. He's like, is Hawk okay? So at that instant, he forgot his own pain because he was so worried about his best friend, about his brother, right? About his brother in arms. Like this, it's such a nice, tender moment between just these two very well-written characters, and it's amazing. And of course, then we have the moment with Yona. So Yona shows up. Now, soo-won says at that moment, but boom, look, he's not sweating anymore. He's full on, no, fuck my pain. Hawk. Yona, he's still breathing. He is still alive. Like, it was soo-won and Yona right here, completely like, look, all three of them are together again. And what are they concerned with? It doesn't matter what soo-won has done. It doesn't matter what Yona has done. It doesn't matter what Hawk has done. At this moment, they are once again a family. And they are here together just worried about Hawk. This is just fundamentally simplistic and yet three-dimensional storytelling, all wrapped up in a neat little package for us like it's goddamn Christmas in May. So I love this moment. This chapter was fantastic for this moment alone. The dragons then all show up, and of course they're super happy. Zeno, Kija, jae-ha, Shin-ha. The moment with before, remember, chapter 224 was fire. We had the great moment between Hawk and Shin-ha, which we haven't had a lot of. We already know jae-ha and Zeno and Kija all have different types of relationships with Hawk, and we get to see that a lot. But where Shin-ha is so mild-mannered, we don't get to see a lot of them conversing, and now we see that they're all together again, you know. You know, Hawk has come back. He came back to me, he came back to us and stuff, and then they're all down on the ground. Kija's crying, Zeno's like, oh, little miss, it's all okay. Because, of course, Yona has just turned from the fierce warrior princess, from Xena warrior princess levels of greatness that she is at times. See, this is okay when this happens. This is an example of, this is going to be a long-ass review. Okay, because I got to talk about everything. Yona here, Yona dear, Yona... this is a moment, unlike the bad writing that happened previously in this arc, where she became this frightened little girl again. She's only 16, 17, whatever, and she's just a scared little girl. You know, it's like that was really badly written. But here at this junction, this makes sense. She's still a 17-year-old girl. She's still a scared 17-year-old girl. She's just had to man the fuck up, you know, or woman the fuck up, whatever. She's had to do that because of everything that's happened. But here, where she's been so brave and so tough and so wall about everything involving Hawk, now the relief has washed over her, and now this is an okay moment for her to revert back to in just a moment of pure relief. To just be like, my dragons are okay, my Hawk's okay, everybody's alive, everybody's together again. This is okay for her to break down at this point. This is absolutely fine writing. Because I know some people who have argued that I'm too hard on the whole Yona character change at the beginning of this arc. I know some people are a little, like, they don't agree completely with my outcome. They're going to say, well, look, you're okay with this, but it happened again. She turned into just a girl again. And it's like, yeah, but this moment makes sense. She's not trying to win a war or something. She's been wound this damn tight, you know, trying to hold everything together without letting anybody worry, as jae-ha points out. Now it's finally, she can let go. She's been like this. She's been holding, finally. And, I mean, if you've been holding that tight, your arms just, so it just makes total sense to me. 100%. And I know you guys probably already get it. I didn't need all the analogies, but I really want to stress my point that this is the right way to do the whole, she's still also just a girl. In the same way, and I've compared this before, is in Dragon Ball Z. I know a lot of shoujo readers don't exactly watch Dragon Ball Z and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But some of you, I'm sure, do, just like I read Yona. In the Cell Saga, very, very quickly, it's just, as Piccolo points out to Goku, when Goku realizes he made a mistake, is that Gohan might be the most powerful fighter, but he's also still just a scared 11-year-old boy. No matter how strong he becomes, no matter how much he can blow up planets and be the strongest of all of them, better than Vegeta, better than Goku, better than Piccolo, he's still only an 11-year-old boy. And you're putting all that on him. At the end of the day, he might put on a brave face, but he's still this. Yona is the exact same thing. She's still just a 17-year-old girl. Being in the wilderness for 1 year, having to survive, has toughened her up, has shown her great character development and stuff, but at the end of the day, there are still these moments. And I really just appreciate this moment because it's very happy, it's very nice. The dragons are happy, her dragons are there, her Hawk is there, everything's happy, you know? And then soo-won is realizing that, you know, like, so Hawk was alive the whole time, and it's just, he's, you know, from soo-won's perspective, of course, as I said, I believe he forgot the pain completely because he was just so scared for Hawk. So, now this is where Minso automatically, without any urging from soo-won, but just sort of like, yeah, I know His Majesty wants to know, basically said, Lord Hawk is still resting. He lost a lot of blood, and it was kind of on death's door for a while, and he's going to be bedridden, but don't worry, he's going, basically, like, he lost a lot of blood and shit, but I think he's okay and stuff. And then, of course, we see all the dragons together, and this I love. The dragons, they're like partying and stuff, like Zeno, jae-ha, they're all like, we're resting up and stuff. We had a hard fight and stuff, and they're acting like they're all just happy and go cheery, but none of them want to leave Hawk. They were all very scared. Even Zeno, very scared and very worried about Hawk. Hawk's here. They want to be there when he wakes up and stuff. It's a very bravado man thing to do. Even, you know, like they're not going to say, Well, I'm not leaving his side. See, they can't do that because that's just not the way men work. But men work in different ways, and all men can recognize it. They're pretending like it's just like, no, I mean, we're fine chilling in this tent right now. You know, it's open space to drink. It just so happens that Hawk is there. You know, they have to put that on because that's what guys do. That's what men do. But they're still showing their feelings from a man-to-man perspective. They all know what they're doing. Hawk is going to know exactly what they're doing. So it's a total message. It's delivered. It's fine. I know it doesn't make sense to a lot of women that guys have to do this shit, but it's what we do. And I really love it because it's very realistic of how guys operate, right? So, and Zeno even says, go to sleep. You know, you're all injured just like the Mister. And I love the fact that the translation team brought back the Mister. He's the Mister. She's the little miss. Don't change that shit. Don't change that shit. He's the Mister. He's always been the Mister. He's the Mister, and he's scary. That's how Zeno has always described Hawk. So, yeah. So I really like that, you know. And this is where they're all like, yeah, we're just gonna drink and stuff like that. And then there's some funny stuff with Shin-ha ended up actually drinking a little too much alcohol, and he lives in control and beaming his eyes and everything like, dragon curse and all this stuff. So. Yeah, and they're all like, yes, let's reflect on the greatness that is Hawk's return, and blah, 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 and they're all just sitting there and stuff. Now, Yona shows up and finds out that they all drank too much. Like, yeah, we're not tired. We're going to stay up and wait for Hawk to wake up. Yeah. You know, 3 drinks in, it's like... You know, like that kind of shit, right? So... I find that extremely funny. I love the humor in this scene and stuff, and Yona's there like, you guys, you're still awake? And doom, dead silence. Though jae-ha, of course, as always, jae-ha and Zeno, of course, are actually awake, as they always are. Zeno is never truly asleep, and I don't feel like jae-ha ever really is either. They're always sort of like, yeah, we're gonna, you know, we know what's going on even when we're half asleep. So, then she basically, you know, she talks to jae-ha for a little bit here, and says, like, listen, you can, because Yona, this is a great female intuition thing, and Yona recognizes that this is what I just explained about, this is how guys operate. Yona knows this is exactly what they're doing. So she goes and says, listen, I know you just want to drink with Hawk again. I know the moment he gets better, you just want to sit down and have a drink with Hawk. I understand. But you don't need to hold the bottle there like it's a lifeline. He's back. It's okay. When he wakes up and he's ready, you guys can have a drink. Don't worry about it. You know, you can drink together once he's better. You know, you don't need to do that, you know. So, I mean, you know, and of course jae-ha plays it off, and Zeno says, Zeno's actually wondering about soo-won and says, like, how's he doing? And Yona says, like, he's improved a little bit. And so they're sort of like, everything's all good then, isn't it? And so jae-ha's smiling, Hawk is there, Yona's smiling. It's like everything's serene. You know, they might be helping out soo-won with the Senjutsu. Hawk is back. The 4 dragons are healthy. Everything is semi-right with the world, at least for tonight. You know what I mean? I definitely enjoy that and stuff. So, anyway, everyone is back to sleep and yada, yada, yada. But, of course, there's a very loud rain. And this is going to be interesting. I wonder how soon they're going to play this off. But Hawk clearly has a little bit of what we refer to as some pretty standard PTSD, some shell shock. And I'm not surprised by it. It actually makes a lot of sense. It was done in the Avengers movies with Thor and stuff like that, and I thought it was done very well, even though people criticized the jokes made, blah, 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 but that's Avengers. Here, this actually makes a lot of sense. Remember, Hawk's not exactly a 45-year-old war veteran either. He's still just a teenager himself. So this actually makes quite a bit of sense, in all honesty. Because, you know, the thunderstorm's going on and blah, 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 and he survived a flood. Now, he's been on the move ever since, so he didn't really have time, and there wasn't really any big rainstorms or anything, so he didn't really have time to reflect on it. But it's seemingly, he's got a little PTSD, right? So we see Jodo, and we see Gwen Tai and stuff, so everybody's fine and stuff. This is where, actually, there's a scene before that with the leader of the Water Tribe and stuff, who basically, you know, gives Yona the umbrella and stuff and says, you know, you shouldn't be carrying those bags. Like, where are your soldiers and stuff? It's like, princess, do this, do that, do the other thing. And sort of like, you guys do remember that she's not the princess anymore. She is the princess, but she's not. But I love that all the leaders don't really give a shit anymore. Like, even Jodo. Jodo was one of the first ones who was like, I promise to protect soo-won, blah, blah, blah. But even he was like, he goes, no, like, I can't, way back when, arcs before, Jodo couldn't help. His body naturally reacted to protecting Yona because that's what Jodo is supposed to do. He knows it himself. But yeah, so I really like that all the leaders are basically on Yona's side now. So it's actually quite funny. The Water Tribe guy, of course, gives the umbrella and has one of his men put the sandbags or whatever all around. I think they're sandbags or whatever. That's generally what you use, just to make sure the tent's tied down where the dragons and Hawk are sleeping and everything. This is where she finds somebody standing out there in the rain, and she recognizes that it's Hawk, and Hawk has gotten out of bed and wondering about it, and Hawk is right now, he's sort of in a dreamlike state. This is what happens to PTSD survivors and stuff. He's not actually dreaming, he's awake, but he doesn't know where he is, and he's just like, the water's coming, the guys at the village, the flood is coming. Everyone, I have to go tell Yona. Everyone's got to run away and everything, So he's in this state. Now, to be fair, he just woke up. I wonder if this is going to be a long running thing with him, that he's not going to be doing very well in big thunderstorms or rainstorms anymore. And that would make a lot of sense. Maybe he won't exactly want to be on the ocean, on a ship or anything like that. So it's definitely going to be interesting from that regard. The trauma of being in a flood and surviving seemingly has affected him. So Yona's trying to calm him down and basically says, like, I can't see anything. The big flood is on its way, so please, everybody run. And Yona recognizes he's remembering the flood and clearly that Hawk was in it and stuff. And maybe he'll be able to talk about it later. But right now he's just in this traumatic state. And Yona's like just shouting at Hawk, being like, jae-ha, the others, Yon, everybody's safe, everybody's at the castle, everybody's fine, you protected Senjutsu, everything's okay now, everything is fine, you protected everyone. And then finally, it sort of snaps him out of it, and he just goes, I protected them, everyone, and he's like, oh, yeah, it's all over, yeah. So I'm curious if rainstorms are going to do this going forward with Hawk as a character. I'm curious if he's going to react badly to heavy rainstorms from here on out. That would be an interesting line to follow. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm reading too much in. It's just a natural reaction. The first rainstorm, maybe there's not a whole lot of PTSD, and completely involved. It's just a minor case of it, that kind of idea, and he'll get over it very soon. But it could also lead into another plot line, which I wouldn't mind, actually. But Yona completely brings him back and says, like, I have to make the sound of rain and Hawk's head completely disappear and go away. So that's when Hawk actually sees Yona and truly looks in her eyes and sees her and just is like, princess. So, and is recognizing that he's trembling like crazy. So he's definitely suffering some PTSD, which is as I said, I'm okay with it because it makes a lot of sense for him as a character. And, Hawk has always been this invincible, like strong castle, this wall, this impenetrable fortress. And now we're seeing the cracks. Now we're seeing some cracks. Eventually, castles get old, castles start to crumble. So it's good to see that that little bit of vulnerability here is definitely going to be interesting going forward. And then after this, they find a little hut, a little shelter. I don't know why they didn't exactly go back to the tent, but maybe it was too far. Found this little place, found a little shelter from the rain, and Hawk ends up just, they end up making out. It's a very nice lovey-dovey, it's in the rain, and the rainstorm, and night, and they're finally back together again, and blah, blah, blah. And then Hawk is like, it's not a dream, it's really you, princess, and this is really me. So, because he's just woken up and stuff, and he's just wondering right now if is he still on the battlefield? Is he still in the flood? Is he still see his head? At this point, he's suffered from so much blood loss. He has been running on adrenaline for like days. Literal days. This man has been running on pure adrenaline in a haze, which is still impressive as fuck, but he's been doing this entire time. So now he just needs to know. He just needs to know if she's real, if this is real, is this not a dream, is everyone really okay? Am I alive? Am I dead? That entire thing, he needs to go through that. So I find it absolutely hilarious that Yona, they go to the comedic moment, but it's very, very them. It's like, because he's just like coming on to her sort of idea. He's got her laying down, blah, blah, blah. It's like, ooh, it's hot and it's heavy. And it's like, all right. it's time to make love, make sweet, sweet love. And then it's like, that is totally not allowed. Bonk on the head, completely snapping him out of it. And she's like, no. She's like, it's pitch black, I can't see anything, and I'm getting really lightheaded too. I'm not ready for this right now. Keep it in your pants, bud. And I'm just like, it's very... See, some people, just like with the Thor thing in the Avengers movies, some people will be like, this is taking away the seriousness of the PTSD and stuff, and, because you could make this a very serious, dark moment where he needs to feel alive and feel like this is real, and, the physical connection, physical intimacy, sex, will, prove it to him, and that kind of idea. That's a very common thing used in a lot of fiction, and it's very true. If someone's traumatized, they need to be as close. They need emotional closeness, but they also need physical touch. They need constant physical touch to keep them snapped out of it, sort of idea. So it's definitely a real thing that can be taken very seriously. This time, they aren't making a joke about the PTSD. It's just that Yona is actually like bringing Hawk back into a place where they're both in their relationship. Like, because Hawk is still acting strange at this point, so I can understand why some people might be upset by this moment, saying they made a bit of a joke out of it, like this could have been the hot and heavy moment, and it probably should have been, and Yona shouldn't have rejected him like that, or something like that. I can see the argument, but the thing is that right now, he's even questioning everything. Is this real? Is this a dream? Am I dead or alive? Well, I guess if this is a dream and I am dead, I can do whatever I want right now, sort of idea. And Yona's like, no. That's not okay. No, you are alive. You can't... She doesn't want to make love for the first time. Her first time, of course, but also her first time with Hawk. She doesn't want this all to go down because he needs to make sure that he's alive. That's the wrong reason to go about it. So it actually makes a lot of sense, even though it's played off slightly for the community effect with the karate chop to the head, the bonk, that idea. But it also makes actually quite a bit of sense. It actually does make quite a bit of sense. And this is where it's like, everything's going so fast, I can't do anything. And she's, of course, Yona, she's embarrassed, She's, once again, a 17-year-old girl. It's her first time. She's not done anything more than making out before. So it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing for it's actually sometimes embarrassing for guys, too, just so we're clear. It's not a uniquely female problem, just more common. But yeah, so it's definitely a thing. And Hawk's just like, yes, sorry, sort of idea. So then they still have the romantic moment though. After that, like after he gets off and he's like, wait, so I am alive. So Hawk has basically snapped out of it. The rainstorm sort of put him in a weird state, but now he's been brought out of it, and he's not trembling anymore and stuff because she has snapped him out of it, because she's saying like, when I was thinking about you, it was painful, but now that you're in front of me, now that you're here, everything's okay. And she notes that Hawk who was trembling so much just 5 minutes ago, is now in that weird PTSD state he got in, that state of shell shock. Now he's all right because he's back to being him. So Yona thinks like, maybe I was able to just help even that little bit, and I want to protect him and stuff. And Hawk's just like, and she just like hugs him really fiercely. It's a nice ending to the chapter, just hugging him really fiercely. It's a very nice moment for the two of them, and just like, Princess, what are you doing and stuff? And he's just like, well, I guess it's allowed that you crush my ribs in a bear hug. Like, I don't know. So, but she's just so happy that he's back and all this stuff. And it's just a very nice moment, very nice way to end the chapter and everything. And I know this has been an extremely long review, guys, but I wanted to definitely give it its due. Each moment, each page felt like its own little section that needed to be discussed and talked about separately. So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss a goddamn thing. Hopefully I didn't. This review is going to be 40 minutes long by the time we're done. So, yeah. Anyways, I definitely really enjoyed the chapter. Next chapter is going to be out June 3rd. I might not be able to get that out as early as June 3rd or whenever the translation drops. Let's say it drops the 4th or the 5th. It'll probably be a couple days later than I'll be able to get the review out. But anyways, no, I definitely really enjoyed this chapter. This chapter was very, very good. I think we all can agree that as a community, this is an extremely important chapter, a very good chapter. And finally, soo-won and Hawk inbound, baby. Soo-won and Hawk are finally going to be able to have their conversation that we have been waiting for. Us, the fan base, have been waiting for this. I don't even know how long. Like it just feels like forever. So, but yeah. hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. I'm sorry if it was a little late getting out. I'm going to try to get to the editing here right when I'm done recording, but might not be able to get to it today, etc., etc. Life is happening, things are happening. So, but yeah, I definitely love this chapter. I hope you guys did too. So definitely don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. Fourth and most importantly thing is to drink but responsibly, as I always do. And we will see you beautiful, wonderful people back here again for chapter 226 of Yona of the Dawn. Yona of the Dawn. Chapter 226 is about to be incredible, just like 224 and 225 have been. Looking forward to it, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend, great time, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.